Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Corbin Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play The Ladder. Now, let's see. Where were we? We have just been talking to Chief Lee, as Ashton that is. And he just started to figure out that he, Chief, and probably some other higher-ups, is being paid off by Luke Wright. Luke fucking Wright. So... let's see. Oh yeah, because of that he's been taken off the case, of course. So now, let's see what's going to happen. And just when are you going to receive the phone call from Rebecca Gales? We will only find out when we start playing. So, let's go.
Yes, sir.
He cuts the line as soon as the words are out. You're off the case, Frey. Just like that. Yeah, so this, I believe, is when... Yeah, see, this is where Rebecca Gales dies. And we are here right now, so she will die tomorrow. And here we are with today's update. Ashton Frey received a phone call from the chief of Luxbourne Police. First thing in the morning, informing him that he had been taken off the Luxbourne firm case. Although his protest fell on deaf ears, this sudden turn of events proved a hunch. Yeah. Ooh, we're going to investigate shit with Isabella now. Ooh, nice. Funny why this still caught me off guard. I discovered years ago how different the actual thing is. How far from reality everything I believed in as a dreamy-eyed kid. There are no high-speed pursuits every day, no thrilling gunfights, or exciting cases every step of the way. Only paperwork, lots of red tape, and dealing with the politics and bureaucracy. I set out to change things, hoping it'll make things better for the people I care about. It ended up changing me instead. Serves me right for being too idealistic, I guess. This is probably the universe telling me that it's better to remain the skeptic I really am. Now, here I am, standing useless. Can't even do anything but grit my teeth and kick the wall. The bastard didn't even acknowledge my response.
What did the poor wall ever do to you?
He figures Rebecca would be the one to find me in this embarrassing state. Honestly, I don't like it when she sees me like this, which seems to happen a lot regardless of what I want.
Rebecca, now's not a good time.
Is it ever a good time? The concern I expect from her when I turn isn't there, however. Instead, she just looks... well, the storm I left brewing last night, it's right there on her face, ready to be unleashed.
When is it ever a good time for you? You're always so busy with everything now.
Yeah, that is why you have a problem with him.
Now I find you here, sneaking out without even bothering with a proper goodbye. Not even a word. Really, I'm starting to think you're just keeping me around for my couch and my cooking.
Becca, it's not what you're thinking. I wasn't planning on sneaking out. I was going to say goodbye. I just had to take this call. Although, I'm not gonna lie, couch is great. 10 out of 10. Would sleep again.
Stop it with the jokes, Ashton. I'm not in the mood.
Her bitterness is not lost on me. But at this point in our friendship, in our lives, how does she still expect me to answer that? What am I supposed to tell her now?
Are you still mad about last night?
Of course she is, you dumbass! She merely raises an eyebrow at me, which, to be honest, is all the response I need. Seeing her like this makes me believe those things Seaman says. The part where Rebecca scares him. Sometimes. I've certainly seen this more than once already. But the familiarity of it doesn't really take away from the downhill turn this conversation's starting to take. What's that? Only an awkward cough serves as a way to stall.
Okay, of course you're still mad. But whatever happened last night, I really am sorry. I'll apologize as many times as you want.
Well, an apology is not gonna fix things. How about you do something for her?
If you want, I'd even kneel or something.
Something useful, that is.
Ashton, an apology is nice and all, but that's not what I wanted to hear from you today.
Alright, fine, okay. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. I've honestly lost track of it by your third trip to the buffet table.
I wasn't... The drive up there took a bit. Can you blame me if I wanted to grab some appetizers?
Oh, come on, Ash! For the whole evening? For the whole party? Please don't tell me that's all you did, because I've never known you as someone who pigs out.
Ooh.
You even took great lengths to avoid me. Should I also mention how you ignored Zach? Sometimes I get the feeling you don't want to be seen with us in public. Some friendship, huh?
You know it's not like that. It's never going to be like that, Becca.
Maybe you even just used me to get into the party.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
You said yes to being my +1, but you were rather excited to just peel yourself off, weren't you?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm feeling a bit used.
I couldn't even look her in the eye. It wasn't that I lied to her. I honestly wanted to be there. To keep Zach safe, to keep Rebecca safe. Really? Just in case. Client or family friend, it was still a party hosted by a person of interest. By a man accused years of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. Wait, what? By a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife. Wow, okay. So you did kill someone, or that's what's being said here at least. But when Chief showed up, Hunter Wright happened, and Luke Wright just couldn't be bothered to die peacefully somewhere. All of a sudden, none of my original reasons mattered. If I was found out, right then and there, and if Zach and Rebecca's connection with me was found out, who knows what might have happened. But Rebecca doesn't understand that. Doesn't understand what I can and can't say to keep them from harm. It's all in her eyes, in the tired line of her lips and her furrowed brows. The hurt.
I'll ask this again. Just what were you up to during the party? What were you doing that you couldn't even take 2 seconds to make time for your friends?
This day is just off to a wonderful start. First my case, now Becca. How do we even go about this? This is difficult. Stretch the truth. Insist, but that's just a kind of lying, and insist it's confidential. I think she's not gonna react well if we lie to her, though. Not that it matters, because she's gonna die in 48 hours.
It's confidential, Rebecca.
Well, at least we got a plus on that. As I said, not that it matters. Ooh, Luke does not like us. But Rebecca, of course, is the one that likes us the most. But we started off at the same place with Zachary. I wonder how many times I've told her that. And not just her. My dad, my mom, Zach, and even Isabella. How many times have I told them what essential boiled down to? Mind your own business, to make sure they're all safe, to keep them out of danger. My job isn't a game. It isn't as glamorous as the television portrays it to be. I have thought so. I had thought so too as a child. I was so clueless back then, wasn't I? But boy, did I learn. The good guys don't always win, justice isn't always served, the investigation is not looking at the crime scene once to get a eureka moment. It's sleepless nights at the crime lab with the tech guys. It's several days wearing the same clothes with Chinese takeout stains because I'm staking out a place. It's frustration when bureaucracy hinders you from looking into a case any further, or when you know the suspect is guilty but they get away scot-free on a technicality. It's seeing anger and pain and despair with every case.
I know you have a mountain of questions, but I've told you this so many times before. I can't say much more than that.
Still, the look on Rebecca's face, the resentment and the pain. It hurts me as well to think that I'm the cause of that. It's a familiar one too, something I've seen a lot over the years. I wonder how long it'll take before Zack starts giving me the same one. Or until I've hurt Isabella in a way that any sincere apology won't ever be enough. What a mess. I'm a mess. And it's the people close to me who have suffered for it.
Official police business, huh? So you did use me?
Used. The way she utters it just makes me feel like a total scumbag. It's not like I did it all on purpose. But I can't just hold someone else responsible for this, right? Who am I going to blame? The chief? Anna Wright? Luke Wright? Doing so feels like cowardice. It doesn't change the fact that I'm the one who put us in this situation. I couldn't even look at her anymore, with this guilt eating me up inside. But then, she laughs. Half-hearted, with barely a hint of share in it, but it's a laugh nevertheless. I honestly don't know what to make of that, what to do with myself upon hearing it. It's almost like the mere sound of it is meant to pierce.
The least you could have done is tell me. Maybe I could have helped, kept an ear and an eye out for you. I don't know. I could have been Irene Adler, maybe?
Irene Adler, I recognize that name. Who is that? Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, but the mask, she tries so hard for me. Though I imagine it comes off as an unenthusiastic as hers. God, I can't say that word. It's far easier to slip back to banter when it's like this. Just brush off everything. At least this way, we wouldn't have to deal with awful things.
The woman? Don't flatter yourself. Nancy Blue, more like.
Oh, it's part of the Nancy series, I guess. Nancy Drew.
Her sidekick would beg to differ, Ashette.
I couldn't stop a wry grin from forming in my lips. She probably still has the photo from that contest. Keeps it in her old diary. I never did find either of the two after I threatened to burn them. In the end, I just never brought it up again, hoping she'd forget about the whole thing. But a small smile on her face says a lot. Those were the good times. A lot simpler, a lot more peaceful. Now things have changed. We're no longer the same people we were as kids. Growing up together doesn't mean it's always has to be just the two of us in the first place. It's a dumb notion to believe in when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change through the years. In fact, it already has long ago. Not just with the people we allowed into our respective lives, but also with us, as people, as friends. It really does get complicated as we get older, doesn't it? Not everything has to be, though. Even if it's in the form of a promise I have no idea when I'll be able to fulfill.
I swear, I'll explain when it's all over.
Oh, damn, that's gonna hurt. The silence afterwards brings an even heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca, thankfully, doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
The situation already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more... what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't already.
Back to your case again?
I don't really have to. I have no case. As far as the job is concerned, I have the weekend off until I have to report to Chief on Monday. Although I don't want to just throw in the towel on this, orders are orders. This isn't like the movies. I don't get to say fuck off, throw my gun and badge at him, become some vigilante, save the day and get my job back. I'd rather get my ass thrown in jail than do any of that. But it's also not in my nature to sit still and do nothing. It'll drive me crazy if I just idle about. Besides, there's someone who has to know about this whole Luke Wright thing.
Yeah, I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
That other matter she mentioned last night specifically. Thank you! Oh my god, yes. Things even the news have been blasting about the general populace lately. Evening, afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same modus, blaming on a single serial killer. Or is it still the case?
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
We're grasping at straws as far as these murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one heading this investigation. Yet look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulder. How sad is that? Although all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange, I don't want to go into the line of thinking for now. I don't want to go into that line of thinking for now. Not yet. Not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest though, I don't know how to take all of this anymore. But I've already given Isabella my word. It'd bother me more if I didn't follow up on a promise I made to her. And after Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I can already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
Figures. What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
Ooh, wow, that's cold. That's cold.
Becca, I promised her I'll...
She doesn't wait for me to finish. Oh. With a roll of her eyes, she turns around and shuts the door in my face. I have no idea what I've said this time, but...
I probably deserve that.
Yeah, you do. We'll just have to fix this some other time. By then, her temperature should have cooled off significantly. Now, let's see the next journal updates. Let me squeeze in here. Rebecca confronted Ashton about what happened at the party the night before. Unable to tell her any details, the latter simply admitted it was confidential. Although Rebecca accepted this, the displeasure remained evident on her face. Hopefully. For now, I can't laze around. Gotta attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver the bad news, then that issue with the BRC and Isabella. Maybe I'll also drop by Sachs, check on him, hear what he has to say. He has also read that damn letter. I might as well, while I'm here, playing a paranormal detective, or was it supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever. I wouldn't hurt anyone if I try to get to the bottom of this. If nothing comes out of this, good. Everyone can shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. On to more important stuff. But there is something.
Are you two done?
Hi, Isabella. There's a moment of confusion when I don't see her familiar ponytail about, only to find her standing behind the door to our apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might happen to pass by. This early on a lazy weekend? I know that anyone would. But from the gap and what little light there is behind her, I could make out the appearance of someone who has just clearly gotten off from bed. Hair in a complete disarray, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small powder on her lips. She hasn't even gotten out of her pajamas. I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends, I'll even dare say we've grown close over the years, but that doesn't extend beyond the bounds of propriety. Propriety? Christ, him and Rebecca never greets early visitors in their sleek clothes. Though maybe it's our fault why she's up this early. Still, the heat makes us a slow crawl up my neck, one that I quickly downplay with a solid cough.
Isabella, you're up early.
Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour. You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
Gee, thanks.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her, and although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt flickers in her eyes. It disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but that moment has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. I've seen it on her plenty of times before, just never in a matter that unsettles. So let's see here. I want to know what has happened for Isabella. Isabella and Ashton arrived at Senowell, having an argument about the BRC employees' investigation and more. Annoyed by the noise, Rebecca inferred, and in the end Ashton has to keep an open mind. Okay, this is Rebecca stuff. No, Isabella here. Jeez, Isabella's been doing stuff in the background for a long time. After the strange encounter at the little girl's room, Rebecca tries... Yeah, Rebecca. Let's see. The right couple moved into... Okay, so this is them eating the rights. Looks for the police. During supper, Hannah found Luke drinking absinthe. And this is Zack. A frightening Isabella Santos knocked at Zachary's door steal. Zack's pills, Zack's food. Yeah, maybe. Rebecca found Isabella going through several papers. No. Isabella Santos drowned herself with work the whole day to forget about the devastating news of her mentor's death. However, she ended up stumbling upon the mysterious disappearances of her other colleagues, and just when she realized something important. So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days since we left off Isabella. Damn. It feels, I don't know, off this time? I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
Hey, are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight. You're awfully loud.
That is the kind of relationship Rebecca wants with Ashton, though, isn't it?
If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
Ooh.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't. You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Right, and Ashton is interested in Isabella.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
She follows it up with another pout, but her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, I noticed just now, takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now, she just looks more like an angry puppy. I might have laughed at it, not giving me another nagging sense that something is definitely wrong with her. What? Has she been crying earlier? That is worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened, the one time I've ever seen her genuinely tear up over something, I think it was after Devlin Court, the night at the bridge. I want to ask. She seems determined to keep it to herself, though.
Belle, did something...
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own. You'll just...
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
Aha. I thought she was saying that with some kind of innuendo in her voice, but no. She's being the spy here. I thought that was weird. I don't like what she's implying. It's true LPD is having a hard time with this, but taking Isabella with me? It's out of the question. Under normal circumstances.
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that. And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
Here it is again. The slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump in her shoulders while she crosses her arms tightly around herself. Like she is shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out there. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action yet. I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at it, it's simply better for her to just wait so she won't be dragged into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumption might be a dead end for all we know. But seeing that expression on her, hearing her speak those words out loud, in a desperate, almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in, because right there, I see myself in her. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of their problems haunting him.
Alright, 5 minutes.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
Ooh!
I hate you so much.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28. I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful! I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth and the lightness in it, linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow, even as it echoes, fades away, and only the ghost of a smile remains.
It's not like I'm looking for anyone else.
I want to tell her. It's not because I can't. I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to, until I fix myself. Until I found myself underneath all that guilt and those lies I've been telling all these years. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I am not worthy yet of them. Of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into the things with BRC in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything. Unlike with the firm case, which I already have proper leads on, I'm just going by her word on this. Speaking of the Luxburn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension there's for sure. I made a lot of promises to the man, and I would have preferred to tell him in person, not over the phone. But before that, let's read the journal update. A lot of journal updates today. That's cute! Even the Yang logo. That's awesome. Disturbed by the ruckus outside her unit, Isabella reprimanded Ashton for the noise. The latter noted her disheveled appearance and puffy eyes. Although before he could ask about it, she brought up the issue with BRC again and insisted they both look into that night. But it's better for him to hear it from me rather than from a stranger. Yeah, I seem alright. The railings offer a steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bar surely tightens though, once the call connects.
Ashton.
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and he's certainly fit for a man his age with a sedentary job.
Oh, no, not today.
He's definitely not the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from children and families, filter through the receiver. I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited. Although neither remarried, they're both content with their lives as it is. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see. If you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark does.
Just thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. And to what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now in any case. I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. It's not the type. It's not the type. However, long-held resentment can change a person, even someone as mild manners as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the, the case.
Oh, is it your wife that was killed by Luke? Oh, that's horrible. What could his wife possibly know? He's just an old dude, a professor. I suppose I'm just the downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'll see in my face and my mannerisms. The art of keen observation? I learned it from the man. He probably already has an idea what this might be about, from a manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
Oh, he's good. For a second, I hesitated, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage eventually. After a long, ragged draw of my breath, I pick up where I left off, though still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton.
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand that it heals.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhausted rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was just... I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, maybe even disappointment. But all it gives me is a small sigh of relief.
Is that so? Well, at least you aren't in danger. Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Liz. Aunt Liz. She insisted I call her that. Aunt Liz, she insisted I call her, his late wife. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. They were never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. But she is the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her. The professor too. In the absence of my own parents in my life, the two filled the ache the divorce left in me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up at her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. 2 men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each of their faces. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months. Something about the lot being in a prime property in downtown Luxburn. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? That quaint little shop was a dream for them. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city. 1 casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it. But with a lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. The professor hides it well. However, I can tell that he hates that man to this day. He might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens in the city. He has never blamed me though, but I'm as equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her, called for help or whatever. I didn't. So it continues to eat me until today. The guilt. The Luxburn firm case would have been our chance of reopening the old case. We could prove Luke right of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet all he has for me are words of comfort. To think he can still be this concerned about me, after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise for a second time. People never cease to amaze me.
You might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him. But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Suddenly he stops. I imagine a thoughtful look flashing in his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He has never removed it since that day. Has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, when he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize? Show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes.
I apologize too, for putting you up to this.
In another occasion, under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but...
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this old man. I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late. Deaths almost every day.
It is that many, huh?
I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing...
Professor, please.
Maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control. The letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those. I'd still be quick to blame it all on the bastard too. But as much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to this resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. This kind of anger is the sort that blinds people, despite their reassurances. Bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really alright. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises. Again. A bad habit at this point. I wish I could do more for him. All this time I prided myself over being the one he will always know. Because suddenly, aside from Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about. Things that are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luca Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze and I'd be all too happy to put him in a place he belongs. Although, if he was, in any way, also complicit to what's happening, the galleys have my hands tied. But maybe that's my fault. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night, if only I had done a better job during the party. But then, the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me from my purpose too. I'd include that gatecrasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. So many things have gone wrong last night that...
This isn't a prank! I saw something!
Ha ha ha! Oh, I have goosebumps over my entire body! Oh, that's so good!
See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys. It's not a joke. Will you guys listen to me first?
Oh, that's fucking horrifying.
I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night. At the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit! If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if it was the same thing Rebecca talked about last night, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as some sort of a fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, a hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what what's my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's the setting when the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information. Something to form a conclusion from. Proof. In whatever form it may take. But thinking straight is impossible when, all of a sudden, all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor.
Oh, no problem. But what are you...
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say, as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabella emerges from the apartment, fully dressed and ready for the day. But we're gonna cut it off there. We're just gonna read the next update in the journal. Oh, wow, the wedding band. While waiting for Isabella, Ashton called Professor Andrew Clark to inform him of his dismissal from the Luxburn firm case. While Andrew assured him that it was fine, the detective promised to keep an eye on the case. However, a realization cut the conversation short. Yeah. Ooh, I got goosebumps all over. Ashton is on the case now. This is going to be an exciting couple of episodes we're having in front of us now that he's on the case. That's so good. That's so good. If you want to watch anything else that I've been playing, you can find it at the bottom of the screen. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.